All right, so The Backrooms. The Backrooms is a movie obviously based on the Backrooms lore and, YouTube videos, which speaking of, the guy who made the YouTube videos is actually the director.
Yeah.
And he's like 20.
It's kind of crazy. Like, he started doing that stuff when he was like 16 years old, and now he's like 20 years old directing a pretty big movie, just considering like what's going on. Yeah.
Man, what the hell are we doing?
So this movie, I think the horror was pretty good. Probably the best part of the movie.
They really let it ride before they introduce like the actual scare. And they do it in a way where it's like very quiet, which to me is the scariest thing to do in a movie. If you're making a horror movie,
It was giving me anxiety.
Obviously, I was pretty tense throughout the movie, but you made it worse, definitely. Because he was trying to scare me before the scares would come out.
There's a story, which, there kind of has to be with every horror movie. But this is kind of one of those where I feel like the story was tacked on so that we could explore the back rooms.
Compared to like the YouTube like short like videos and stuff like that, this feels more like what if somebody else was stumbling on it, because the YouTube videos obviously have like their own lore with like a company discovering it,
Which
right?
I think is the same company.
It's the same
movie,
company
yeah.
as in the movie, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
So this feels more like, okay, they're like more gateways opening up to the back rooms, and somebody else stumbled on them, and we're seeing their perspective on it.
One kind of con I could say about this movie is that the people in it suffer from like horror movie stupidity.
yeah,
Like, they are kind of dumbasses.
Well, but they don't know that they're in a horror movie. They just stumble into this liminal space. And
I think horror movies are a good learning lesson, man. If this stuff happens in real life, I know what
Run.
not to do.
I don't know, man. I think this movie maybe could have benefited from a younger cast, right? Because I don't know, man. Like, I think any adult might be like, maybe fuck this. I'll call the police.
well, I don't know. This guy, the phase of his life he's currently in, he's like, nah.
Yeah, this guy might be kind of suicidal.
Right?
What do you guys think of the movie overall?
Good. Actually, I think it might be the best horror movie I've seen this year. And I've only seen one other. So
You liked it more than Exit 8?
I liked it more than Exit 8. I think Exit 8 had a better story, but when it comes to scaring me, this movie did a way better job. And
I agree with that, but I think Exit 8 was a better movie. What do you guys think?
I mean, for me personally, yeah, I think I probably like Exit 8 more, because they both have a similar premise in terms of like taking this public space and making it kind of creepy, right? But
Attacking on a story.
attacking on a story. But I feel Exit 8 did it much better than this movie. I really don't. I wasn't super invested in the story in this one, really, or too much of the characters. I just wanted to see what the backrooms like stuff would be.
Liminal space.
Yeah.
I'm going insane.
Kind of.
Save me, H.P. Lovecraft.
But with Exit 8, I was a lot more invested in like, okay, how is he gonna get out of this? It wouldn't be neither would be my favorite like horror movie of the year, but they're both pretty good.
I like that like the whole movie was like liminal. Like the way everything was like panned out, like buildings and like the parking lot of the furniture store and inside the furniture store. It's all liminal and it feels like old and it feels like I don't belong there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the movie takes place in the 90s.
But I really like that. It felt just as creepy. Like everything just felt so plain. Like there wasn't a lot to it.
Oh, and they had shots of like, the recording camera, just like on the YouTube videos, like of it being like lost footage.
Yeah, that was the creepiest part.
Yeah, that's how it started. Like that whole opening segment, which just like first person.
Oh, that opening segment was peak.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's good.
It is basically just like an extended like YouTube video for the Backrooms. Yeah.
I think the overall is like kind of weak characters, but strong horror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're going to move on to spoilers. So right off the bat, going back to these characters, Clark, who's basically the main character for some of the movie, he just keeps looking and looking into it, and eventually he just kind of becomes part of it.
I think part of it is that like he has nothing good going on in his own life.
I share the same thought as you, is that he's looking for something that serves him purpose. Yeah. He works at a like rundown, doesn't receive any customer furniture store. His life has no purpose. He lives day to day like the most boring, basic life possible. He's also a character that in the movie he goes to therapy. And he goes to therapy because he's troubled, right? He's divorced or separated.
Separated at the very least, yeah.
And it's upsetting for him. It feels like he's stuck in the past and he's unable to move on. And his therapist, who's another major character, I think her name was Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mary, she's there to be a therapist, give him advice on how to cope.
Although she has her own story with like, she has flashbacks of, I assume, her mom.
Yeah. And she was kind of like in a sheltered home, but not like the healthy type of shelter. I don't even know if there's a healthy kind of sheltered, but...
It seemed a bit like her mom might be schizophrenic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's heavy implications there. She was very unwell. So these characters kind of have like these underlying problems, and while exploring the back rooms, it's unfortunate, but it's not until like the end of the movie that you kind of start to understand these characters more.
The only characters that don't really get explored too much is the cameraman and his
Bobby
girlfriend.
And Kat.
Yes, the employees.
Although Kat seems to be the only one who has any sense in the movie. But
yeah, she ain't messing with that.
The whole time she was in there, she was just scared. She was like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
The cameraman, I don't know how like his first reaction when he sees a bunch of clothes and it smells like rotting flesh, his first reaction isn't, how about we get the fuck out of here?
Well, he didn't say it smelled like rotting flesh.
He said it smelled really bad.
He said it smelled bad.
But that's
he didn't
the implication. That's the implication.
So, at the mattress store, Clark finds the back rooms through a wall that I guess is just like a portal to the back room. And it makes it so that he has something to live for. One aspect about the character is that he is I guess you could say a failed architect, right?
Yeah,
I think that like he never made it big into architect.
Yeah.
So, but you have like the back rooms, which is such like a wide liminal space with all this architecture, and that maybe that's why he's so obsessed with being in there.
Yeah. So eventually, Bobby and Kat they die, and he gets stuck in there. And stuck is kind of like an exaggeration because
is it being stuck if you want to be in there?
Yeah, which the movie doesn't really show the transition very well. It happens very quick. But he seems to really want to be there. Like, he accepts being there, and then he's even like, oh, look, we can eat these people, which, how do you even find that out?
And I don't think he's fully stuck in there because the therapist gets a voicemail from him, which is how, like, he lures her into the back rooms. So it's more like he just wants to be in there more than he's stuck in there,
But how did he know what to say to her to lure her in? Because he said that he opened up the windows. Which, how would he know that she wasn't allowed to do that as a child?
That's a good question.
That's a good question. Yeah. That's an unanswered question.
I think it might tie in a little with, like, some of the flashbacks kind of make it, like, seem like her mom is schizophrenic or crazy because she might have been in the back rooms too. I mean, I feel like there was like a scene where like it transitions from like her old like childhood home, and then it's just like going down, and it's like it's like going down into the back rooms.
See, and I thought they were using that because he then almost immediately after that scene says that the back rooms are, well, he doesn't say it's the back rooms, none of them do, that they're like a distortion of memory. The more you think about it, the more you try to remember it, the more distorted it gets. And I thought that they were trying to visually show us that.
The back rooms kind of felt like a metaphor for being stuck in the past and not being able to move on. If you think about it, and the way they explain the back rooms too is that things from the past somehow find their way inside the back room, is the way it was described. So I think they were trying to use like the back room, which has no metaphorical lore behind it. It's just a place. And if you think about it, Clark not wanting to leave the back rooms is kind of a metaphor for being unable to move on.
Yeah.
And they keep going over the scene that caused him and his wife to separate.
That's right. So there's a scene where they're like trapped. He has Mary.
He keeps going back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he keeps going back to it. He's unable to move on.
But the thing is, he thinks that that's what ruined his life, and that's not it. It sure is the breaking point, but like it was over way before that, clearly. And the therapist tries to make him see that.
So Mary, she comes in to try to rescue Clark.
More like a wellness check kind of.
Yeah.
And so she gets into the back rooms, and honestly, this is where I kind of call her stupid, because Clark may have wanted to be in here, but I don't think she did, and she just kind of kept going. And listen, I don't care how curious I am, I ain't gonna do that. I'm turning back. If anyone probably had like the worst decision making, I'd have to argue it was Mary. But either way, right? So Mary finds him, and they have that scene at the dinner table where they reenact that time where he and his wife, they broke up. And this is kind of where Clark gets killed by one of the creatures. He seemed like he was cool with all these creatures.
With every
Yes,
the entity that he found.
But the one that killed him was a distortion of himself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until after he had determined he was never going to change that it killed him.
The thing that killed him, John Backrooms. He is a lingering force that, like we mentioned, doesn't get shown until that scene, and it turns out to be him, which I do think is a little weird, because did he manifest this thing?
Right before that scene, we see a mural on the wall that assumingly Clark painted, and it looks kind of like a distortion of the pirate mascot, which is what that thing is.
So after Mary escapes from John Backrooms, she gets taken by Async, I think is the name of the company.
Yeah.
And basically, they kind of interrogate her, although they make it seem like it's not, like they're not going to do anything bad to her, but they're also not going to let her leave.
Yeah.
So it's
an interrogation, weird, and she gets interrogated by, his name's Phil.
Yeah.
It's just Phil.
Hi, I'm Phil.
Hi, I'm Phil.
The ending is kind of ambiguous. There's a couple of ways that we can kind of see the ending, right? Because we see that Mary gets distorted. But what does getting distorted mean, right? Like, does that mean you die? Does that mean that it's just like a copy of you and like the normal you is okay? In fact, was that even Mary herself that getting interrogated, or was she the distortion?
Even before like we get to that part, I was already thinking like, are they even still in the back rooms? Like that whole scene of her in the interrogations room
could be in the back
yeah,
rooms.
it could be in the back rooms.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
there's like certain pieces of dialogue from like Phil that make it seem like they're like she's still in there.
Yeah. Actually, when they pulled her out, so when she escaped the giant pirate guy, it doesn't look like she went through any kind of like portal or anything. It looks like they built that base inside the back rooms.
That could be the case. It was giving me Stranger Things vibes.
Yeah,
that's kind of, like the upside down. That's exactly what it felt like to me too. Our theater was rowdy, man. By the way, like on a side note, so there's a bunch of you fucking Gen Alpha and Zoomers like taking up all my theater time and taking up every seat known to man and screaming like you've never seen a horror movie in your entire life. Oh my god, it's so scary!
They were doing that on purpose, clearly.
They were.
Yeah,
They
they
were
were.
definitely. Yeah. It really wasn't a big deal. They only got rowdy once. The security, like the theater security, though, was hanging out by the door.
Oh, and then they shut up real quick.
Oh, they got real quiet in that theater. Like, oh, let's just watch the movie now. Like,
do you guys have any finishing thoughts, especially on the ending?
Okay, well, I mean, I don't think that distortion is her. I think it's like the backrooms kind of taking it, like its copy of her and putting it in its own, like just kind of replicating it,
Cool.
adding to like the whole like loop.
Clark did say, like, hey, these people that the ones at the dinner table with him, they probably have like a normal life outside of the back room.
From his explanation, it's more like people that like stumble on it, like into the back rooms. I end up getting remembered by it, right? So that's why that's how it's like making this, because it remembers them and it just kind of tries to replicate them, but it doesn't know how to replicate them perfectly.
I don't think it necessarily said that they ever that those replications ever went to the back rooms.
I think it's kind of implied. And in fact, one thing that I kind of thought of was, is it that the contamination is them being copied, right? Because they're wearing like hazmat suits.
Yeah.
And they're obviously detaining her for a reason. Obviously to question her, but also maybe to quarantine her.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think the whole thing where they're wearing hazmats kind of supports this, maybe. Like, it could be some kind of virus that duplicates them.
That's true, yeah.
And I mean, you know, maybe it's out of my ass. Maybe because, you know, the hazmats maybe were just made for the YouTube videos. And just because they looked cool.
Yeah.
But,
my closing thoughts, A24 does it again.